Do you ever get lost in nostalgia? Do you ever find yourself on YouTube looking at old commercials from the 80s and 90s and think, those are the days? Simpler times. Maybe you crack open a can of Pringles, a 99-cent Arizona iced tea, one of the last few things you can buy for under $1 that doesn't taste absolutely like shit. Do you remember Kids WB? Or long for a time when MTV played music? Do you miss Kmart and their cheesy muzak? If you said yes to all those things, or even some of them, chances are you'd like Vaporwave. Today, we're going to venture into the past, so join me as we take a trip back to a simpler time. Vaporwave, according to Wikipedia, is a microgenre of electronic music and an internet meme that emerged in the early 2010s. The style is defined by its appropriation of 1980s and 1990s mood music. Styles such as smooth jazz, elevator music, R&B, and lounge music, typically sampling or manipulating tracks via chopped and screwed techniques and other effects. Its surrounding subculture is sometimes associated with ambiguous or satirical take on consumer capitalism and pop culture, and tends to be characterized by a nostalgic or surrealist engagement with the popular entertainment technology and advertising of previous decades. It also incorporates early internet imagery, late 1990s web design, glitch art, anime, 3D rendered objects, and cyberpunk tropes in its cover artwork and music videos. You can find a lot of articles and videos discussing Vaporwave on the internet. Perhaps one day we'll make our own video where we discuss the history and the subculture of Vaporwave. But today, we're going to talk about how to make Vaporwave music. This is the first Vaporwave track I've made. Well, technically the second, but the first was trash, so I scrapped it. I was trying to go for an OG Vaporwave sound, like MACINTOSH Plus or Chuck Pearson, not some of the hybrid Vaporwave that you see now that blends lo-fi and hip-hop with Vaporwave. That isn't to say I don't like that stuff. I just wanted to recreate some of the original sound. It would be a crime not to mention John Oswald and Plunderphonics, as that technique of stealing and reconfiguring nostalgic sounds and music is key to Vaporwave. Watch Adam Neely's The Music Theory of Vaporwave, where he discussed that it's not just about recreating the sound, but also harnessing the timbre of the music, or the sound of the sound. That timbre, that texture, that sound of the sound is a key factor in Vaporwave, because that is what evokes nostalgia. For my track, I decided to sample a 1989 cassette tape from Kmart to make the Vaporwave sound. You can find this cassette tape as well as many others archived on the internet. I'll share the link below. Here is the Vaporwave track that I went ahead and made. I'm going to go ahead and briefly walk through what I did on this track. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. So, what we mostly have here is this Kmart 1989 sample. This is what it sounds like. I went ahead and added some processing. I had to freeze the track because I was using a tool by iZotope called RX7 to remove some of the crackle that existed there on the tape that I didn't want. But this is what it sounds like by itself. It's important to note that a lot of Vaporwave music takes an original sample, this one was a Kmart October 1989, and reduces not only the tempo down from wherever it was, I think this one was at 98, to somewhere where it's either 60 or 70, but it also detunes the sample. If we look at here, I believe it was originally an A sharp, I detuned it 5 semitones. What I did is I ended up doing a lot of processing. I cut some of the lows, I recreated the drums that you can hear right here. Those were, from my understanding, what the drums were originally in the song, but I wanted to go ahead and have more control of the drums. I also did some automation, whether it's filtering out pieces of the song, chopping them, pitching the samples up, stuff like that, just to really give it that chopped and screwed sound. This track, all of the tracks, from my understanding, everything from the source material to the drums, have a reverb on them. This helps recreate, really recreate that floating hypnagogic vibe. This track has 2 different samples, both a You've Got Mail as well as a Mario sound. It also has an Attention Kmart Shoppers. So we have the Attention Kmart Shoppers right here.
Kmart Shoppers.
It has the You've Got Mail. I did 3 layers of You Got Mail, both a regular 1 octave down and 1 octave above. And I went ahead and kind of shifted each one of these sounds to kind of give it a more eerie vibe. And each one of them and 2 of them, the one that's the pitched up and pitched down, both have some echo. So the You've Got Mail has a regular pitch, a 1 octave below, 1 octave above, and the 1 octave below and 1 octave above both have an echo placed on them. Oh, and they also have a transposition down to kind of create a tape stop effect. And then you have the Mario sound. I also used a drum loop for the hi-hats just to save some time. As I was saying, chopped and screwed this quite a bit. You can hear it in places like this. So I bring it down. This also has an echo on it. I believe it's a ping pong. It's a ping pong echo to give it more space. So if you're listening to this on headphones, it'll be a much better experience. As I was saying, I was chopping and screwing that. I also cut out pieces here and there. The way I kind of created this was I wasn't trying to create a full song. I just wanted to kind of create an interesting loop. Basically, you have 2 verses, for lack of a better term, that bookend this break section right here, which adds the extra melody. And it just kind of, you could just loop it. Oh, and then I also went ahead and sidechained both the kick and the snare. I added the echo and a phaser after the sidechain here on the source audio, and then I put a filter and a reverb. The sidechain is after reverb on this one with an auto pan and echo. Ultimately, I just played around with this sound until it sounded like something I wanted. A lot of moving things around and figuring out what works and what doesn't to really just kind of hit that sound that you ultimately want. There are many other ways of obviously producing that. I would recommend really sitting down and actively listening to earlier Vaporwave, what it should sound like, or at least what it should sound like to you. This is a genre that isn't really as clearly defined as perhaps some other genres out there. Ultimately this is just all about, building nostalgia and, just kind of having fun. So, watch my last video if you're confused about what the term active listening is. But, use some active listening and listen to some of the earlier stuff and really try to think about what they're doing and try to do it yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll give it a little listen, and then that'll be it for today.
K-mart shoppers.
Yeah, I think that's pretty nice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave this track a comment and a like if you want to be entered into the giveaway happening later this month. Details are in the description box below. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay updated as to what's going on here in the channel, as well as let me know what you want me to cover next. I already got a request from Hunter Mansfield, who writes, Kevin Savage, do something for Ulasile from his song Otog. Well, I plan on studying the track and either doing a song recreation or a sound recreation for a future video. Thanks to the comment, Hunter. I appreciate these requests because it helps me figure out what to do next. I will ultimately want to do videos that you guys want to watch. So leave your requests in the comments below and have a fantastic day.
K-mart shoppers.